It's been a while. A lot has happened in this universe. Off screen, kind of, unless you were there for the streams. Because Duelist Kingdom ended, but the footage is gone because Twitch deleted it, which is annoying. But here were your final 8 in order of when they made finals. So Koji Nagumo was first, Yami Miho was last, and they went through their bracket. Koji beat Yami Miho, Mayumi beat Bakura, Yami Draco beat Trudge, Solomon beat Mako, Mayumi beat Koji, Solomon beat Draco, and Solomon beat Mayumi. As a result, Solomon got to choose which card to get as his prize, and it was either the money or the title King of Games. Naturally, he chose the title King of Games, and Mayumi then got the money. Mayumi gave the money to Joey for his sister's operation, and Pegasus's plan worked out. So he wanted to gather all the Millennium items in one place, and that was his goal with the tournament, and he succeeded. And as a result, a portal opened up and has brought duelists from the past into the present, where they played a very different version of Duel Monsters, but they still played Duel Monsters. Also, at this time, a boy named Merrick opens a portal the other way due to what is it? It's the Millennium something. Hold on. It's been a while, so I gotta like retell this from memory of the story basically, which I mean I guess is very fitting for like an ancient tournament being added to the lore for the details to be uh, dodgy. Is that the word? The Millennium Stone. Merrick's interaction with the Millennium Stone caused him to go to the past. And in this past, he was part of a tournament, which is also lost, but I definitely did. But this one's very fitting to be lost. It was called Millennium Dawn, or at least this is what Pegasus is calling it after he heard about it. And it was won by Priest Seto, who happens to be the same as Yami Seto. Same guy. And this is where we learn about the origins of a lot of these characters. So, Nightmare. Oh, wait. They had God cards, I remember. Hold on. Again, it's been a while. Do I have it written down who had what? Slifer. Let me look. Because I decided at the beginning of the tournament the 3 God cards. Queen Aether, who you may know as Yami Miho, actually has one of the God cards. And it was basically like this group of people under the pharaohs against the invaders trying to take their god cards. And if you beat them, you got to take their god card. Well, Gebelk and Queen Aether was on the same side, so Aether was able to keep her god card of, I believe, Obelisk she has? Merrick beat Heishin and took his god card, which was Slifer the Sky Dragon. Priest Seto beat Nightmare and received his god card, which I believe Seto has the Winged Dragon of Ra. I believe it's those ones, Ra, Slifer, and Obelisk. And because they lost to their own people, they did not get to take the god cards. But they took the god cards, which I guess weren't cards at this point. They were like tablets or something. They took them. Other characters you may know in this tournament, Pharaoh Atem. This is a guy. He's not in our story until now. Um, Princess Anzu, also known as Yami Teya. Priest Shada. Now, he was not in the story yet. He was mentioned as the spirit that formerly lived in it was the Millennium. The one that, what's his name? This is my exposure therapy for remembering the story, is having to describe it to you right now. Shada was in the Millennium Key, which is now owned by Diesel Kane. Diesel Kane's darkness overrode Shada's spirit. Shada is now back in here. And, Bobasa, you know Bobasa, the spirit of the scale. The Millennium Scale. King Bakura, the spirit of the Millennium Ring. Akhenaten used to be the spirit of the Millennium Eye before the Darkness in Pegasus became Yami Pegasus and overrode him. The necklace holds Princess Anzu, Teya. And the Millennium Stone holds the spirit of Hassan, who is right here. Hassan. And this is important because you will be seeing a lot of these characters again. Because after Pegasus learned about this tournament and met all these people, he logged it as an official tournament. Because first of all, it has several official duelists, including the winner Priest Seto. Second of all, it's extremely important. And third of all, he wants to run it back, a new one, because Millennium Resurrection. Now, here's what I wrote. Hold on. I wrote this months ago. I don't remember what it says. Pegasus made the 3 god cards. Okay, well, I could have elaborated on that more. That's a little bit of a sentence fragment, but sure. After he did, they disappeared and he couldn't find them. Priest Seto came looking for him and asked what this was about and showed him Ra. Okay, so Priest Seto was the one holding Ra at the time. Pegasus explained how he made the 3 Egyptian gods into cards to Priest Seto, the ones he found on the tablets in ancient Egypt. And then once he made them, they disappeared. Priest Seto says he knows where they are, that they are in the hands of the 3 from the past who possessed them. And he explains this tournament, the Millennium Dawn tournament, the tournament of the gods, as he called it. But Pegasus, of course, had a different name for it. And he says that his memories came back after being on the island and the items started glowing. That's when the memories of all the spirits came back. And then that's also exactly when the portal opened up and brought all the people from the past to the present. The Millennium items interacted with each other, being together again, caused this to happen. Priest Seto says that the gods would be in the hands of Queen Aether, who they know as Yami Miho, himself, and Merrick Ishtar. Pegasus asks who the heck is Merrick Ishtar, and he finds Merrick after a long search and contacts them. And then, basically interviews him about the tournament. And then Merrick tells him about the portal, about the Millennium Stone, and how when he came out, he was split into two people entirely. There was Merrick, and there was Yami Merrick. And the God card was in the hands of Yami Merrick. That is the side that came out with the card for whatever reason. I guess he probably wanted it more. Merrick explains that Yami Merrick seemed to be the personification of the darkness inside him, and Pegasus immediately understood because the same thing happened to him. Both of them felt like a completely different person after that happened. The dark half of them getting all the negativity inside and that being drained from the light half. I mean, kind of interesting because they start as one person and both halves were part of that person and become their own people who are separate from the whole that was at the beginning. Priest Seto was contacted by Kisara and tracked him down because she came from the portal and she wanted to see if he was here. And she tells him about the portal and about the others here. So Seto, Hisara, Marek, and Pegasus are now this team that goes together to look for the other people involved. And they wanted to assemble a team. The same team from the past, since Kisara said they came to the present. Just like they did last time, they assembled a team to claim the gods for themselves. And of course that was successful. So they're assembling the same team from the past to get the god out of Yami Merrick's hands, along with some of the best duelists of today as sort of backup, part of a new team. So it's the same concept from the past that Pegasus loved, and he was like, this is how we're gonna get it back. And it's gonna work because Yami Merrick now gets the promise of having both of the other god cards. Pegasus made sure that every single Millennium item holder was involved again. Because there was unfinished business for Pegasus. That was not entirely his goal, but there was an interaction, and he wishes to harness that interaction again. There's your overly long exposition for this tournament. Considering we had 3 tournaments to catch up on, and I didn't even give you all the lore that went down. I just gave you a bit. So, this tournament has Yami Merrick in it. Seed number 32 against seed number 1, Solomon Muto, the winner and king of games of Duelist Kingdom. He is given that seed despite not being the number 1 ranked duelist because he is the king of games, which automatically makes him the number 1 ranked duelist. The others were given stats based on their performance in the previous tournament. Because Yami Merrick was not in the tournament, he is seed number 32. And for Pegasus, this was very intentional to include the stats of the previous tournament and make sure Yami Merrick was last. So that he would have to go against Solomon Muto in the first round and have the highest chance of losing his god. As for the rest of the squad, Mahad, Yami Bakura, not part of the squad, but is one of the Millennium item holders that Pegasus needed for the tournament. Merrick Ishtar, part of the squad. Kareem, Mayumi, Dada, he's okay, not part of the squad, one of the Millennium item holders. Anzu, part of the squad. Sadi, Pegasus, Miho, Abydos the Third, Riseto, Tem, Gabelk, Odeon. Now, Odeon not part of the squad, not a ranked duelist. However, he is Merrick's brother and one of the keepers of the Millennium items. Same with Ashizu Ishtar. So they're here with Merrick on Merrick's side. Which Merrick? I don't know. They're here for Merrick. Kisara Bobasa, Aethir, Aknam Kanan, Yami Kane, not part of the squad, Shimon Moran. Now, the interesting thing is about Yami Kane and Diesel Kane, they got split up, and Diesel Kane is still dark. I guess he had enough darkness in himself for the both of them? Or maybe he's just not as dark as we think. Shimon Moran, Korra Rio, Shizu Ishtar, Seto Kaiba, Yami Pegasus, not part of the squad, but is essential for Pegasus's plan. Mana, Aknadine, Kaya Gardner, and Isis. Ignore the coughing. I'm gonna ping my server now, and then start the tournament. And then... y'all?